Hi, I'm Amita. Come write with me, come create with me. I want to talk about this thing today about living through your deepest feelings. I think it's not an easy thing to do because it's much easier to numb ourselves. And what I've found, because I've used many ways to numb myself over the years, we know when we're doing it too. It's just that we keep on doing it. It's just it becomes a habit or a pattern, and because living through your deepest feelings is hard because they're not joyful, beautiful feelings all the time. They're uncomfortable many times. They don't feel good. They're stored difficult feelings. They could be related to past trauma or past experiences that we've had. And especially in childhood or even later in life, when we do have any sort of difficult or traumatic experience, we tend to suppress the feelings that event or that situation brings up in us so that we can survive. So it's a survival thing, right? And in that sense, we have to kind of forgive ourselves for numbing our feelings because we've done it in the past because it was a way to survive something that was difficult or something that we that we couldn't fully let ourselves live through because it was too damaging at the time. Now, but the problem is, obviously, many of you will already know this, that over time, you don't actually need to numb yourself anymore because you're not in that difficult situation anymore. Perhaps you are in a difficult situation, but you need to get out of it. And to get out of it, you have to really fully let yourself feel that it isn't the right situation for you or the right context. So in our later on in our life, even when that situation isn't there anymore, we tend to keep on numbing ourselves because it's easier to do. And to tell you the truth, the world around us promotes this idea of numbing yourself because it gives you so many ways. Think of the number of ways there are to numb yourself. There's endless hours of television, endless hours of video games, endless hours of eating too much and then feeling bad and then exercising or dieting, or endless hours that you can spend trying to create the perfect complexion or the perfect hair or the perfect fingernails or going shopping or whatever it is. There are ways that the world will promote us numbing ourselves, and because so much of our feelings are uncomfortable. So much of our body kind of tends to feel uncomfortable because we get anxious and we get depressed and we get all kinds of other things that we've stored in our body. And I do think it's kind of a lifelong task to, it's certainly for me, I've certainly used many of these things that I just mentioned, including television, including food. I've used those things to numb discomfort, uncomfortable feelings that scare us because we're worried that if we give in to them, we'll be depressed or we won't be able to get on with stuff or whatever. I also think that jobs that aren't really right for you, that are, I don't know, there are many different kinds of jobs that aren't really right for you, but they're maybe paying the bills or they're giving you a sense that you're accomplishing something, but they might not be the right job for you. Now, that doesn't mean go chuck your job away and, because we still have to pay our bills and we have responsibilities, so we do have to kind of plan this out a little bit. But the point is that even those things, even jobs that aren't right for you and that aren't built for you, can become numbing things, or they can lead to more numbing of our experiences. So I think that one of the biggest things that we can do, not only for ourselves but for the planet, because if you look around you, this is where I say that we're living lives the way we numb ourselves. They might be mediocre, sort of kind of middling, lukewarm lives, but look at the lives that many of our politicians are living. They're living not even their mediocre life, they're living their worst life possible by hurting other people, by thinking that accumulation of wealth or power is the most important thing, and it's more important than other people's lives and other people's children's lives. So they're definitely living their worst life. This is what we're surrounded by. We're surrounded by a world that is on fire because most people that are in leadership positions, many people, maybe I won't say most, many people that are in power are living their absolute worst life. They're numbing themselves by hurting other people, or thinking that they need to keep on accumulating. Okay, so that's my little rant done for now. But the point being that I think us living our deepest life is not only the most creatively fulfilling thing that we can do for ourselves, but it is also what we can do for the planet. And so there are two things, I think, there are two elements of this. One is for us all to identify, what are we good at? What do we really, really love doing? Because, when you say your deepest feelings, say that you figure out what you're using to numb yourself, whether that's drink or food or TV or whatever, shopping. Say that you think, what are my deepest desires? Funnily enough, your brain will trick you. I think, this certainly happened to me. My brain will trick me into fixating on things that aren't really that important. So, for example, you can fixate on a person or a particular outcome or a particular measure of success that you've got. And you can fixate on that to the point where you don't really, again, you're not really living your deepest life because you're fixating on this thing that either isn't real, so the person might not reciprocate your feelings. There are loads of other people, but we tend to get fixated sometimes. There are outcomes from a job or from a thing or from a path that you're on that you get fixated on, not realizing that maybe that isn't the one that is the most fulfilling. So to me, when you do get to a point where you can really dig deep and you can think, what is the most fulfilling thing for me? There are two elements. One element is this question of, what do I love doing? What is really meaningful to me? What is the thing that is really my talent? And I've said this, right? The talent isn't that important. I've said that in a previous post. The talent is important, but it's certainly not by far the most important thing to determine success. I have said that, and I will maintain that is still true. But tuning into what those needs and desires and talents are is still important, because what is it that you're really good at? What is it that you really want to spend your time doing? Is a lifelong kind of worthy thing to do. So for me, for example, I've told you already, what I've done to kind of numb myself in the past. The years wasted in doing that, in kind of feeling uncomfortable and feeling self-loathing and feeling sort of not right for the world, or not like you don't belong. I've had years of that. I've had years of numbing or kind of suppressing or pushing down those horrible feelings of not fitting in, or not being right for the world, or being the wrong person in the wrong context, or not really connecting with people, not really knowing who you are. I've had years of that, so I've numbed that like I said, using all kinds of different ways. But I think it's now, what are the things that I'm good at, or that I love doing? Not even good at, the skills can be developed, but what is it that I love doing? And writing is one of them. Certainly, and hanging out with the people that I'm close to, like my little family and my friends. Those are important things to me. At the same time, I'm also, I hope, good at communicating, because I do love doing that too. And it's something that people keep on saying, well, when are you teaching the next course, or when are you doing the next post? So it is something also that I love doing. So it is really tuning in. So that's the first element, tuning into what you love and what you think you might be good at. And the second thing, I think, is a really, really important factor, because you could be good at something that's destructive, and that's not what we're trying to get at. We're trying to get at what you're good at, but what will make the most kind of positive difference to the world. I do think that's really well worth tuning into, because there are things that you could be good at that don't really, that you could enjoy, that don't really contribute anything to anyone. But I genuinely think that, why not think about not only what you're good at and what you love doing, but also what positive contribution that talent can make to the world. I think that's those two questions are really, really important. So just kind of tuning into, what your instincts are telling you about what you love. Just maybe notice for the next few days, for the next couple of weeks, what are those things that you love doing, and what that you love tuning into. But also, what are the things that the world keeps on giving you messages about? Oh, I love it when you do that, or that's so good when you do this or that or the other. You could be very empathetic, you could be very sensitive, you could be quite emotional, you could be a great communicator, you could be really good at numbers, you could be really good at trying out recipes, you could be really good as a parent or as a friend or whatever. Notice what people tell you and the messages that you get from the world around you about the contribution that you can make that could be positive for other people or for the planet. Okay, so thank you for tuning in today and listening to and sharing my my creative, the importance I give to creative processes and the importance I give to making a difference to other people, which I think is really the only way we're gonna be able to do anything that will make a difference, to the world situation, which is really hard at the moment. Okay, thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you again soon.